Welcome to the Porn Reboot podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Amazi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode.
What if I was to tell you that your dreams of the future were actually causing you to get burned out? Hear me out. So in my world, in the world of Porn Reboot, where men permanently end their sexually compulsive disorders, there are only two types of men when it comes to thinking about the future. There are average men and there are rebooters. You've heard me use different terms. You've heard me use type A men and type B men. You've heard me say true rebooters and trial rebooters. It's always going to be two when your future is what we're talking about. Today we're going to be talking about your dreams. Now, in this world of Porn Reboot, of permanently controlling your sexual behavior, average people only pursue dreams. But to a rebooter, dreams are extremely unstable. And what I mean is that an average person is told to chase his dreams. Like, chase your dreams, like set a goal and believe in yourself. And believe that whatever you dream about, whether it is freedom from your out-of-control behavior, whether it is a wonderfully intimate relationship with a partner, whether it is a business, whether it is financial freedom, whether it is great health, whether it is starting a charity, you can make it a reality. And average people chase that. But to a rebooter, you have tried so many times to make your dreams a reality, and you've come short, especially when you have a compulsive behavior that gets in the way of your dreams. So when you get serious about pursuing something in life, you understand that it needs to be made a project. And I want to make this clear. Any man who is a serious rebooter understands that the process of ending his behavior with pornography is not something that can exist as a dream. It has to become a project. And so what a rebooter does with his dreams is that he either discards them or he makes them a project. He doesn't take the third option, which is to indulge the dream, to keep it in that weird manifestation idea place. You are either taking a dream and making it something real, or you are letting it go forever. It is not sitting around waiting to be acted upon 10 years from now. Like, oh, my dream is to build a charity and help disadvantaged people in developing countries 10 years. No. A rebooter has already made that a project and is actively working towards it, even though it's something that might take them 10 or 20 years. I've already told you that in the early days of Porn Reboot, I made a commitment to go all the way with this. Now, I didn't know where I was going to be after 5 years, but as I got close to 5 years, I was like, no, I have to go all the way. It became a 10-year thing. And just last year, I publicly committed to my team to do this for the next 25 years. So this is a long-term project. And what I've learned and what I hope to impart on you in this particular episode is that taking your dreams and making them a project is one of the most fulfilling things you can do. And it's also one of the things that's going to allow you to work, to tap into another level of energy that can never lead to burnout. Here's what projects do. Projects move your dreams from a very childish, disempowering place. That place is a place called I want something, to a world of accountability. A world of I am accountable. You can count on me. I can count on myself. I'll use Porn Reboot as an example. When I open my mouth and I say something that, like, this elevated recovery and our mission is going to exist and I am going to be involved in it for the next 25 years, that is public accountability. I have no choice but to implement and take action on it. But when you wish, if I were to wish for it, if you were to wish for freedom from your out of control behavior or anything else, wishing removes you from the reality of your present moment. If I were to wish for something, I would not be able to take a look at what is actually happening right now. What's working? What's not working? Is this even possible, or am I just talking out of my ass? A lot of people confuse wishing with hope. And a lot of people say, you know what, I really hope that I can end my behavior. I really hope that I can end my PIED. I really hope that one day I'll be in a financially better place. I really hope that my health will improve in a couple of years. One thing I've learned about hope in 13 years of coaching men to freedom from pornography is that hope is how most people avoid growing up. I find a lot of men who, when it's time for them to pull the trigger and end their behavior, they fall back to hope. They'll say something like, you know what, JK, right now, I'm not going to take any action on ending my behavior. I'm not going to work with you. I'm not going to work with a therapist. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I just want you to know that talking to you and learning about what you're doing and listening to your podcast, it's given me a lot of hope. I've learned so much. I have gained so much hope, and it's so motivating. I believe I can do this on my own. But what happens is there's nothing wrong with the hope. I want you to know that. I think hope is a wonderful thing. I think hope is something we should have. But you have to understand that hope is not the same thing as action. Hope just keeps you where you're at. Hope does not lead to growth. I'll say it again. Hoping is a wonderful thing for human beings, but hope is not action. Hope does not lead to growth. I like talking about different types of people. I like categorizing things. I'm a systems guy. I take complex topics and I break them down into very simple topics. So I'm going to talk about just 3 types of people. I know earlier on I was talking about 2 types of people, but for the purpose of what I'm going to talk about with dreams, let's break it down into 3 more. There are 3 types of people when it comes to dreams as well. Not the rebooters and the average people, but there are people who live in a dream world all the time. They just, and you know people like this, you know people, the perpetual entrepreneurs, like somebody who tells you about the new idea they're going to start, somebody who tells you about all the things they're going to do in the future. Like they're always talking about their dreams, and you watch them from their 20s through their 30s, their 40s, they're still talking about their dreams. There are others who, they're not even talking about their dreams, they're talking about the dreams of others. They're talking about the dreams for their family, the dreams for their kids, the dreams for your country, things that you do not have control over. Oh, I dream that the United States will one day be this and this. I dream of a world where you're just a dreamer. The second type of person is a person who faces reality, but that's the only world they live in. They live in a world of pure reality, no dreams. Some of us had parents like this. I know that I had parents like that, who they did not indulge dreams because they came, when you have parents who came from hard times or you have come from hard times, it's very difficult to dream. You're like, I've seen dreams dashed so many times, so I'm not going to let my kids dream. I'm going to tell them the practical things that they must do. No, you must go to college. You must get a job. You must learn a trade. Don't dream. Don't try to do that. That's crazy. You're going to screw up your life. You're going to mess up. So you must live in reality. That's the second type of person. And then there is a third type of person. That is the person who turns dreams into reality. You can dream, but you can also turn your dream into reality. Don't get me wrong. The first and the second person are both capable of dreams and reality. But whether by choice or whether they're fooling themselves, the first and the second either live fully in a world of dreams or fully in a world of reality. And if you speak to the dreamer and the guy who lives purely in reality, they will both tell you that they are capable of more. So the guy who lives in the dream world will always tell you that, no, I live in reality. I'm a realist too. And the guy who lives in reality will say, no, I have dreams, but I'm a realist. You want to be the third person, the person who turns every dream into reality, or you discard the dream. Let's talk a little bit about burnout, because that's what I started this episode with. Burnout only happens, now that I've explained the dream states, Burnout only happens when you use that dream state to solve the same problems in the real world over and over again. See, when you are a dreamer, which I'll be honest, most of the guys who listen to the Porn Reboot podcast are dreamers. There are some realists, but very few listen to the Porn Reboot podcast. I don't know why that is, but if you're listening, chances are you are a dreamer, and you're also a dreamer who's capable of turning his dream into reality. So burnout happens only when you spend way too much time operating from a place of dreams and not taking enough action. And what you don't realize is that when you're actually solving a problem, you're not solving it from a place of reality. A part of you keeps dreaming about the future. So let's use your behavior with pornography, for example. You're trying to end your behavior with pornography, but you keep thinking or trying to picture the day when you're going to be free of this. And for many of you, it's very challenging because you've lived with this behavior for so long that you don't even know how to construct a reality in the future where you are free of this. You only have a dream, and your dream is not even clear. Like, oh man, I would love to be free of this behavior. I would love to be living up to my potential. Oh God, I can't wait for a day when I'm free of shame. I can't wait for a day where I'm so happy and I don't have PIED. Oh, I would love to be there. That's a dream. There's no timeline. There's no system behind it. You barely even know how you're going to get there. And brother, that is the foundation of your trying to solve your problem with pornography. And I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, where else do I behave like this? Do I do it with business? Do I do it with my finances? I know I talk about finances a lot, as I've told many of you guys. When it comes to ending your behavior with pornography in the long run, the two things that are most likely to sabotage you are your dating relationships. That's your intimate relationship, whether you are married with a girlfriend, however you choose to interact with the opposite sex or whoever you're dating, and your financial situation. These two things are the things that can cause you long-term pain. Of course, your health will cause you long-term pain if you don't take care of it, but I assume you're taking good care of your health. I see men, when it comes to their finances, living in a dream world. I want to be wealthy someday. I want to be financially free someday. And I'm like, well, do you have a plan for that? Oh, yeah, I have a plan. And then they go ahead, you might be doing that. You go ahead to explain the dream to me. But if I were to ask you what you're doing right now, do you have a habit of saving? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you have insurance? I will hear all sorts of excuses. Why? You live in a dream world. Same thing with relationships for men who are single. Ah, yes, I'm going to meet some woman one day. We're going to get married. We're going to have kids. I'm like, do you have a plan for dating right now? Where would you find that type of woman? Like, what's the plan? Are you going to just go with the flow? Are you going to date her for a couple of months and get to know her? What are your standards around dating? Do you guys split the bills? Is she going to be working with you to contribute to your finances at home? Are you all splitting it? Do you want to have kids right away? Do you need to have a certain amount saved up and be stable before you do that? And I know if you're listening to me going like, come on, man. Come on, JK. You'll know when the time is right. Then you are an idiot. You are setting yourself up for a whole lot of pain. You can set up systems for every area of your reboot capital. When you don't do that, you end up solving problems from the realm of dreams. But here's one big problem with solving problems from a dream state, from your dreams, a dreamer. Within those dreams are some internal points of views. So when you dream of the future, you are operating from your past conditioning. Within that conditioning are many limiting beliefs. Within that conditioning is trauma. There are things that happen on an unconscious level that form the foundation of your dreams. So if you dream of financial freedom, or if you don't dream of financial freedom and you're just like, I don't care, I'm not worried about my finances, that's neither good nor bad. But it did come from a certain type of unconscious conditioning. And it is unconscious. You are unaware of it, which is why it is dangerous to operate from there, because you do not understand what is actually driving you to do something. You are simply going out into the world, trying to accomplish your dream, and being extremely reactive to everything. If you're reactive to what I'm saying on this podcast, it is usually because you were conditioned to believe something, and what I'm saying is coming in conflict with that belief. Again, nothing wrong with that. That's how we operate as human beings. But if you want to have more control over your future and your destiny, then that which you bring to consciousness, and the more that you bring to consciousness, the happier you're going to be. The more quote-unquote control you're going to be able to have over your future. See, when you convert your dream into a project, it won't burn you out. Instead, it's going to energize you. When it becomes a project, you have taken that which is so amazing in your mind, which to many people is impossible, and you've actually laid out a plan for how you can take that and manifest it in reality. This is not manifestation of keeping stuff in your mind and visualizing stuff. No, this is taking it and making it tangible. That is what we do here at Porn Reboot. People think that rebooting is this thing that is compartmentalized just for your behavior with pornography. Oh, I'm focusing on my reboots. Brothers, the reason that we are almost 700 episodes deep into this, and I am committing to this for 25 years more, is because this is a way of living. It's not about pornography. Pornography is simply the symptom of a deeper issue. You are learning from the process of rebooting to take the intangible in your mind and make it something real. Can you imagine taking a strong desire to be free from this behavior, a strong desire to be shame-free, a strong desire to be free of guilt, a strong desire to live up to your highest potential, a strong desire to have a certain type of self-image, and then being part of a program that explains to you and gives you the tools to understand who you are uniquely, and then helps you create a system for you. It's not a templated approach. The system is going to be customized to you, and then showing you how to take all that intangible thing, all those desires, and make them a reality. When you have proof that you can take something that is so challenging in your mind to deal with, which is your compulsive behavior, and you're able to make that a reality, you're like, whoa, I went from struggling with this to being free of this. Do you know what is then possible for you? Let's keep going because I think you get the point. A lot of us make the process of quitting pornography or making our dreams a reality complex. And it's only complex because we are refusing to confront that which is unconscious. Complexity occurs in direct ratio to non-confrontation of your issues. If you don't focus on where you're going to end up in your default future, and you're going to just take any road to get you there. What this means is, let me use an example. In Alice in Wonderland, and I'm probably going to butcher this example, she runs into the Cheshire Cat, and the Cheshire Cat, I believe, asks so where she's going, and she says she doesn't know, and the Cheshire Cat says, well, if you don't know where you're going, then any road is going to get you there. Any road is going to get you to the place you don't know where you're going. And if you do not decide where that is, all of us, you and me, we have a place where we are going to end up. So here is an exercise for you. Take pen to paper or pull up the Notes app on your phone, even as you're listening to this. And I want you to write, I'm serious, I literally mean you should take a moment, pull out a pen and paper, or open the Notes app and just type one line. If nothing changes in my life, where will I end up? That's all I want you to put down. If nothing changes in my life, where will I end up? And I want you to be very honest with yourself and look at the trajectory of your life for the past 3 years. Look at all the things that have happened, all the New Year's resolutions you set for yourself and where you ended up at the end of the year. All the things you said you were going to stop doing. All the goals you said you were going to accomplish, whether they were financial, emotional, relational, mental. Where are you right? And if this continues for the next 3 years and the next 5 years, I want you to just take a simple moment and do one thing. Write out where you're going to be. Truly write out where you're going to be. No more dreaming. No more like, oh, no, but JK, I'm listening to a lot of different podcasts. I listen to a lot of motivational material, and I'm really building a great future for myself, man. I think I'm going to join your program at some point. I'm working with this coach right now. No. No dreams. No motivation. Look at where you are right now and the road you have taken and the road you are on right now, and honestly ask yourself, where will I end up if nothing changes? Not telling yourself like, but JK, I'm doing something right now. I'm motivating myself and I hope it will change. No hope. Reality. I'm purposefully emphasizing this. If nothing changes in your life right now, where will you end up? A word on motivation. Some of y'all love motivational speeches. Some of you even listen to this podcast for motivation, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I will tell you the reality, as I always have. Motivational talks, motivational speeches, motivational podcast episodes, yes, including the ones I drop, do not replace your default future. You can listen to me as much as you like. You can listen to this every single day. But if nothing changes in your life except your emotional state, like, yeah, sometimes I'm more hopeful for the future. I'm more motivated about my future. I don't care if you're 5 years motivated and for the past few years, you've been listening to motivational material, hanging out with motivational people, and you're just like, listen, just in terms of my motivation and my mindsets, I'm just in such a better place. I'm not depressed. I don't feel bad about myself. I am so much more positive and I'm so much more motivated about my future and hopeful about my future. JK, I can dream again. Guess what? You're not going anywhere. It does not replace your default future. What motivational speeches do, what hope does, what writing your goals down and visualizing and trying to manifest does, is that it keeps you in your dream states and it keeps you out of the project. You must create a project. Project quit porn. Project change my life. Project get a wife. Project become a millionaire. Project get out of debt. Project get a six-pack. Project fix my health. Fix my liver. Fix my heart. Project overcome my trauma. Project. You need to move from dream to project. Now, I'm going to address the last issue, and I'm sharing these things, gentlemen, because this is what I do professionally. All I do from morning till night is address these things in other human beings and help them become free. This is how it works. When I go through this process with men, I end up hearing things like, well, I need a reason. I know it's so hard for me, JK. I'm just apathetic. Like, I hear these things, but I need a reason to move forward or a purpose. Listen, you don't need reasons to do anything. Here's the wonderful thing about reasons. Reasons only help you justify your actions. That's it. That's all they do. A reason helps you justify your actions. It's not that fucking special. You're learning here that hope is not that special. Motivation is not that special. Dreams are not that special. And guess what? Reasons are not that special either. Reasons have nothing to do with creating the life you choose. I know all of this sounds so contrarian to you. I know it sounds different from everything you were ever thought, but my brother, this is how you get free. I came from nothing. When I say I came from nothing, I said again and again and again and again and again. I was a porn addict. I was low self-esteem. I had a horrible identity. I hated myself. I was written off as a failure, and none of the traditional motivation, none of the traditional addiction recovery, none of the church stuff, none of those things that we were conditioned to believe saved me. I had to break out of it. And that is how I learned that hope does not get you to your goals, and dreams do not get you to your goals, and you do not need reasons to get to your goals. You need a project. You need to take the dream and make it a project. At the end of the day, my brother, when it's over, your life is either going to be a warning or it is going to be an example. It's either going to be a warning to others or it is going to be an example. There is nothing else. And this is where you start making that decision. If this resonates with you, then you probably need to get on a chat with us. I'm not even kidding. Get on a call with somebody in our program. Get on a call with a Reboot strategist. You don't need to buy anything, as I've always said. but you need to talk to somebody. If you're like, oof, JK, how do I retain this? How do I begin the process of living this way and understanding this? Join our community. If you don't want to speak to anybody, if you're a little bit embarrassed and you're like, I don't want to talk about porn and stuff like that, then join our free Facebook group. There's a link in the description below. Shoot me an email. Just put podcast in the subject line. I'm really busy. I receive hundreds of emails, but if I see podcast in the subject line, you best believe that my assistant is throwing it right there at the top and you and I are chit-chatting. But don't abuse it, of course. I really appreciate you. I hope you found this helpful. Think about it. Take a moment, just in summary, and I want you to write out, if nothing changes in my life, where will I end up? And then finally, after this episode, ponder, when my life is over, will it be a warning or an example?
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out-of-control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is, if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.